Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and today's Friday, and that means that it's time for another Whiskey Library review. And I'm actually re-recording this because two things changed. First, the bottle that I'm reviewing, and also I've made a slight last-minute change to the Virginia Whiskey Tournament schedule. First up, the slight change to the schedule is that I'm keeping polls open until midnight on Friday rather than closing them at noon because I'm doing the Virginia Whiskey Tournament recap videos on Saturday. Giving everybody time to vote is best for engagement and also gets people who, maybe are on the West Coast for business or because it's where they live. I don't know why you would live on the West Coast when Virginia is right here. And anyway, so what I was originally going to review was the first quarter Catoctin Creek Cornerstone Club subscription bottle. But I did a job for a friend yesterday, and he asked if he could pay me partially in whiskey. And I said, yeah. He said, oh, cool. Yeah, it's a fun way of doing things because, why not? And so, but he had to run to Charlottesville for something. So in the meantime, he said that he'd drop off the whiskey, which turned out to be this, and the check when he got back. So at like 10 p.m., he put this in the cooler on my porch and ding dong ditched me, so I couldn't tell him to take it back. But anyway, this is Blanton single barrel bourbon, dumped on 5/7/26, barrel number 223. It was in warehouse H on Rick number 14. It is 93 proof, which is 46.5% alcohol by volume, and the letter on the horse stopper is B. The one problem with the Blantons is cool. It's got a cool stopper. I can't easily put it down without worrying about the cork coming into contact with the ground. Anyway, put a little bit in the glass. Cork that sucker back up. Now, I always take a point to say, oh yeah, I like packaging or I don't like packaging. Concept, very cool. I like the facets. I do like a fancy stopper. Downside, this gets bumped like a couple times when moving stuff around. I put it down slightly the wrong angle, or I bumped it with my elbow and it's almost gone over. Just slightly less than ideal. Let's talk about it because I frequently give Buffalo Trace shit. And yes, even though this says distilled and bottled by the Blanton's Distilling Company, it's Buffalo Trace. On the nose, it's not as strong a presence on the nose as you would expect. Dusty, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla, but mostly like old oak. There's, I'm not gonna lie, not a ton of complexity here. There's just a hint of like barrel tannin. There isn't really much spice. There isn't like any like dark, rich chocolate notes that come out. It's just a little bit of caramel, a little bit of like corn dust, a little bit of or a bunch of like oak wood, like the note of the wood. A little bit of tannin, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of dustiness. Okay, forgive me. Blanton's is literally like, I said it when I talked about the benchmark single barrel that I felt like, you know, it was slightly better slash, you know, roughly on par with the regular Buffalo Trace for a little bit less. I'm going to have to do a side by side comparison of the benchmark single barrel, the Buffalo Trace, standard Buffalo Trace, and this, because this just makes me think of the benchmark single barrel. Yeah. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla. Flavor like a ripping an oak board lengthwise on a table saw. A little bit of sweetness. Also, not gonna lie, a little bit drying and thin for 93 proof. Just saying. Yeah. The finish, short. Mostly bitter oak. A little bit of vanilla in there. But it's mostly just bitter oak notes and not a whole lot else. Which isn't ideal in my personal opinion. I feel like a little bit more oiliness would help bring out some flavors beyond just oak extraction. And you know, maybe a little bit more balance because I mean this is just sort of straightforwardly when people talk about, oh the point of bourbon isn't to taste the corn, it's to taste the oak. This is what they're talking about. Cuz that's really most of what's in here. It's relatively easy drinking, a little bit drying and spiky, and overall uninspiring, frankly. But I always ask and answer 3 questions when I'm looking at a whiskey. The first one being, do I enjoy it? Eh, I'm not really a bourbon drinker. Um, I mean, I drink it. I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of bourbon. More of a rye guy. Um, Second question, do I think it's a good value? If you're paying for like more if you're paying more than you would for like the standard Buffalo Trace, you're overpaying. That's my personal opinion. And because there's no way you're not paying way more for that, you're overpaying. This is, I would say, not worth the money. Just flat out. Third and final question, do I recommend it? No. If you want a Buffalo Trace product that has a single barrel, that is, I think, near this proof, the benchmark single barrel is way better bang for your buck. I hate to say it, but this is just boring, uninspiring. There's literally nothing in this glass that can't be had out of a much more affordable bourbon. Hmm. Yeah. No. This isn't worth it. All right, and if you've made it through all of that, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to see more of this kind of content, more of these reviews, if you would like to support the Virginia Whiskey Tournament, I am selling T-shirts with Virginia Whiskey Tournament designs. There's a link in the description down below, as well as these pens on Etsy. Again, there's a link in the description down below. I've got roller balls and ballpoint twist pens. I have woods other than this French oak cognac cask barrel stave, which was used to hold cognac for 45 years before being used to finish an peated American single malt in the Pacific Northwest. If you know, you know. As always, links in the description down below. There is still time to vote. I'll try to put the links in the description down below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay happy, stay geeks. Slancha. Slancha. No idea what my mouth is doing.